Hey, what's the deal? I got my boy Joe Rod with us today, guys. We're
Draft
talking
cap,
draft
baby.
scenarios. Hey, he got the draft cap. Hey, show that again, Joe. Dope.
Draft cap, baby.
Yes, sir. So Joe has the draft cap. He's ready to rock. He's ready to roll. Um, you guys know the homie as when he's in cap mode, it's serious. Right now, we're in draft mode, and I want to say this. I'm gonna say it all the time, baby.
Yeah.
Me and Joe were two of the first to lock in on this draft stuff.
Yeah.
And now, as you guys can see, it's become a real thing. Joe, we're letting people come on in. How you doing today, buddy?
Great. I just love talking draft. This is like you and I. It's like we're this is our bread and butter. And we talk about it offline, and we're talking about it here live with everybody else. So, shout out to everybody in the chat box.
Yeah, they're on their way in. If you guys come in, let some folks know that guess what? Joe Rod is in the building. So the headline, Joe, is would Dallas really trade up? Well, guess what? That's just to get y'all in here. We don't know what the hell Dallas is gonna do, but we damn sure are about to talk about it.
Yeah.
Joe, first of all, let's get to some concrete news. What did you think about Penny Sewell's pro day? Because I went back and watched the whole workout. I didn't catch it live. I was very, very impressed.
Yeah.
I thought the movement was exceptional. What did you think about it, Joe? Talk to me about some of that, and then we'll get into some of the rumor stuff and just
Yeah.
picks, prospects, all that type stuff.
I think he just nailed what we already knew. You know what I mean? Like the tape backs it up. You know that he didn't screw around during the opt out. So he's one of these opt outs, right? But from what you've seen, the body looked good. It looked toned. It didn't look flabby. It didn't look crazy, right? You didn't want to see somebody running around here with titties like Andre Smith. So you know he looked good. He looked good. So he's gonna go early, bro.
Hey, Joe. Hey, hold on. Joe bringing his heater today, man. Shout out to you, the traveling man talk show. Thank you for the super chat. Y'all make sure. Hey, so real quick, Joe. We talked about a pre-show. First of all, shout out to the traveling man for the super chat. Y'all keep the super chats coming.
Yes,
Rest in peace, DMX.
yeah.
I'll say this. Me being a musician, me and Joe actually talk music all the time. Y'all be surprised. Like we have a lot of the same stuff in common.
Mm-hmm.
DMX was a true pioneer. It sucks that he succumbed to kind of something that he was battling, but let's not remember X. And I hope the media doesn't, make his death about what he battled. I pray that they make it about the performer that he was, the lyricist that he was.
Yeah.
What did you feel about DMX, man?
Man, it's tragic. You know what I mean? I just it's another legend gone too early. You know what I mean? It's very sad, bro. I mean, he had a lot. He gave a lot, to music, hip hop, and just music in general. You know what I mean? So it's a sad situation. Lots of great music. He had a lot of. I mean, he was at the top of his game for a long time. You know what I mean? And he earned it. He went out there and did the hustle and did his thing.
Yeah, just a great musician. Lasted through a bunch of different eras, early '90s hip hop, and then was able to kind of retransform himself with Rough Riders and all that. So, rest in peace, X. You will be missed. A pioneer in music, by far a top 10 rapper of all time. I don't think anybody would dispute that. Was a great actor. The movie Belly was one of my favorite movies. So shout out to you, X. All right, let's bring the mood up, Joe. Because it's gloomy where I'm at. I don't know if the sun is shining in Houston or in Texas where you are, Joe. But for me, it's gloomy. So I want to get the energy going. So Joe, let's just jump right in because I don't want the fans to wait, and then we'll get into some other things. Realistically, would this team trade up to 4? Does it make any sense? Go, Joe, and then I'll kind of piggyback off what you got going.
Doesn't make sense. I don't think for where we're at right now, we didn't do much in free agency. We just added a few pieces here. So there's still a lot of glaring holes here. You want to use these top 100 picks, in my opinion. There's the dangling carrot, Kyle Pitts, whatever. If I'm trading up that high foots, it's Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater. I just don't see them trading up for a tight end or wide receiver or something else. It would have to be offensive line. Now, if we talk offensive line like Sewell or Slater, I could be sold on that. But for another person outside of that, I'm not really down for it.
It's one of these things that every year stuff starts happening when it comes to, like you said, low-hanging fruit, Joe. Yeah. Like you said, just the rumor mill just going retarded. And the truth of the matter is, I feel like Dallas will be fools to trade up unless they have intel. And all right, so unless they have a player that they are just sold and pegged on. Unfortunately, Cowboys fans, as long as me and Joe have been doing this, I am now for sure that Kyle Pitts is not that player that they are absolutely trying to get.
No.
Because I'm for sure, like, we got to play chess, not checkers. There's no way on this green earth that Jerry Jones will put out there that he's infatuated with Kyle Pitts if he knew that he would be able to draft him being that far away.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I want fans to really understand that part of things. There's no way that he's going to put out there that he loves Kyle Pitts and he needs that player and this, that, and the third. Why would he do that?
Yeah. But we see this like not only the Cowboys, but I'm still not sold on the Mac Jones for the 49ers. It's like, why are you going to put that out there? You know what I mean? Like that would just sabotage your draft strategy unless you have plans behind that. You know what I mean?
So the thinking between the 49ers, I think, and the thinking between them is, I think the Mac Jones thing, that might be a smokescreen for them really wanting Trey Lance. I've always said Trey Lance is in play at the 49ers because I think they know that, well, we kind of all know now that, Wilson will be the pick at 2. The Jets moved on from Sam Darnold. We'll see how that plays out. I personally think that Sam Darnold can play. I think that the Jets were, put nothing around him. Now, USC quarterbacks, Joe, me and Joe talk about that all the time. I don't think that – I'm not saying that Sam Darnold would have been a Hall of Famer, but it would have been nice to have a good team and, coaches around him, not like Adam Gase, who actually knew football.
Yeah.
And when I say no football, yes, I'm sure Adam Gase called plays well with Peyton Manning years ago, and that's why he got his job. But let's be honest, Adam Gase wasn't a people person. He wasn't a good coach. And it showed the way the Jets play football, the way the Jets drafted. They just stunk. So hopefully Saleh can turn that regime around. Good luck to Zach Wilson. I have my reserves about Zach Wilson as well, but that's for a whole nother show. But I think the thinking with San Fran is they don't want to get wiped out of the other 2 quarterbacks that they may want, which I think, like, Mac Jones, it's so Daniel Jones-ish to me. Just like, I get that he'll know the playbook, but like, what plays is he really gonna make? And it's just BS the way that he's gotten pushed up. Like, I don't think there ever would have been a time. Oh, shout out to you, DJ, for the super chat. Thank you, bro. 2 goats. I appreciate you, man. Everybody pound the like button right now, because me and Joe, we bringing our fastballs today. I think San Fran is like, we got to get in on one of the 2, Joe, that are going to be left.
Yeah.
But it's not Mac Jones. But everybody thinks that's a place, because there's no reason Mac Jones should ever, like, he's a nice pick. I don't even have a first round grade on Mac Jones, but I think he can be an NFL pro. But like, I know there are guys who know the playbook. Like, Kellen Moore knew the playbook. He just wasn't a good player in Dallas. So like, what
right. That's a good point.
This is ridiculous. But every year people go cuckoo for quarterbacks. So
that's a good one. Cuckoo for quarterbacks. You heard it here first.
So now 4 is tricky, Joe. And that's what we really want to talk about. 4.
No.
I think that it is real that Atlanta wants to get out of there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think there's something to that rumor, right? So supposedly it was reported there's 4 teams that are kind of in talks. And maybe it happens during the draft. Maybe it happens in a few days. Who knows? But I think that could happen. I think somebody would want to move up here for the first offensive lineman off the board. That's what I think it is. Who needs an offensive lineman to move up? You know what I mean? I think it has to be one of these O-line needy teams, and the Panthers need one. They took Cam Irving from ours. That's their starting left tackle. Do you want to go? The Panthers, do you want to go with Cam Irving as your left tackle? I mean,
so we got time today, Joe, so we can go.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I think that Joe has done the best job of keeping this Cowboys community grounded and making sure that folks understand how important the offensive line is. And I hate this theory amongst Cowboys fans. Oh, we get to draft somebody in the second round. You have to understand, like, we're talking about, some of the later tackles, Darisaw in the later the first round. They're not on Penny Sewell or Rashawn Slater's level. They're just not. I like the Oklahoma State kid. I do. But he's not on Penny Sewell's level.
Yeah.
He's not on Rashawn Slater's level. Like, when I see those guys move, I see A1 athletes at the tackle position. I strongly believe that God birthed tackles. I think a lot of people can play guard and center. I believe that God birthed tackles with their feet, because you got to think, 9 times out of 10, you're going against probably the best athlete on the other team as far as his size, his foot quickness. So you have to be able to match that. Oh, yeah, and you have to be 6'4", 300 pounds. And you have to have great hands, and you have to be able to punch, and you have to be able to set quickly. So this whole, like, oh, we'll be fine. Tyron Smith will be fine. Like, we weren't fine. Like, they didn't play last year.
Yeah.
We got 17 games ahead of us.
Yeah.
This team doesn't look the same with bad tackle play. Hello? No. Like, is anybody home when we say that this team sucks when Brandon Knight actually isn't as bad as freaking Terrence Steele? This team is not good. I don't care if you draft Kyle Pitts. Dude, Dak is going to be on his back against Chase Young and freaking Montez Sweat. Like, we have to draft for this division. I want people to understand that.
Spot on. No, that's exactly what it is. It's how you got fans need to get away from we hope that Tyron will play. He's not going to play 17 games. You might get 10, 8, somewhere in that range. We're being completely real. You know what I mean? How's the hip for Lyle Collins? You know what I mean?
Why is his agent tweeting he's not retiring?
Yeah, exactly. And nobody was talking about that. Like, the agent put that out there. Like, that was very strange to me.
What are we talking about here? And so, like, I want people to really understand this when it comes to position value. I get best player available. Like, it's pretty clear Dallas would have Trevor Lawrence as their best player available if he lasted to 10. They would not draft Trevor Lawrence. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I love Kyle Pitts. If he gets to 10, it's a question that you can have depending on the rest of the board. But we gotta at some point be kind of real when it comes to certain things. The truth of the matter is, a tight end is a luxury.
Yeah,
it's a luxury.
It's a luxury.
great one. It's a luxury. Kyle Pitts is a luxury. Now, the new argument is, well, score points, and that might be how you want to do things. You might want to be Patrick Mahomes and put up a lot of points, but I'll tell you this: Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce did not look the same with both of their tackles out. Patrick Mahomes looked very average in the Super Bowl.
That's right.
He looked 3 seconds sped up. Now he's talking about he needs to get in better shape. All this stuff. He looked sped up. He did.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point. And the 3 seconds, that's a real thing. When we got Zach Martin in here, the whole thing when we drafted Zach Martin was we're giving Romo another 2 seconds. You know what I mean? So if you have a Brandon Knight, or especially if you have, Terrence Steele or Naseki even, you know what I mean? You're not getting that elite. You're losing time there.
It's not even close to quality.
Yeah.
And not to mention, when you talk about the Skins, the division winner, okay, they're not just good on the edge; they're good up the middle. Like you need your whole line to be good.
Yeah.
If there's leakage, one like that. Listen, that Skins game. Excuse me. That Washington football team game in Washington last year was a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our offensive line just got destroyed. It was bad. We couldn't move the ball at all. And I know that was Andy was, just getting in the whole nine, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, let's start being a responsible draft community. Over on this channel, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be responsible. I love Kyle Pitts. Who doesn't?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I think that goes without saying how much everybody loves Kyle Pitts. I would hope you do. He's definitely a generational. I think that he doesn't get enough credit for how good of a blocker he is. I think he can do some nice things in line. Like he's not just he's not just Evan Ingram or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But tight end is a luxury. You don't have a good tackle, you can't win football games. You don't have a good corner, you can't win football games. And so that's kind of where, now I'll say this. For teams that do value corner, is for a place that somebody could go up and secure Surtain, Joe. Carolina could very well go get a corner. I know they just signed Bouye. Atlanta could draft a corner. When you look at their roster,
exactly.
If they don't bail, they could draft a corner. I've always said Atlanta's a spot. I think that New England could move up to try to get one of those Qs. Atlanta could bail. Do you think that somebody could go up to get a tackle or a corner, Joe? And what would be a team that would possibly do that?
Absolutely. That's what you're looking at. You're looking for the premium players. And when we're talking about premium players, you got to have the corner. You got to have the trenches, right? Mm-hmm. You're not going to take a defensive trench player this early. There's not one that's rated that high, like a Jalen Phillips, Kwity Paye. You don't have an Aaron Donald type. And these types of players that go early. So next, you're looking at the other trench, the other side, O-line. That's where you would move up to, or your cornerback. You're not going to move up for a safety, really. You're going to go for a cornerback, top-rated, Surtain, J.C. Horn. Maybe Greg Newsome is a surprise that goes really early for somebody. It happens every year. You never know. But those are the two positions, O-line, cornerback. So, Carolina definitely would be in the mix. If there is any credence to the rumor that the Cowboys would consider moving up, they have something to that. You got Anthony Brown right now starting opposite Trayvon Diggs. You know what I mean? The fans need to think about this too. If you do go, O-line or a luxury pick like Kyle Pitts, you're going to have to move up and back into the first round to get a DB. You know what I mean? Because you can't go into the season with Anthony Brown or on the opposite side foots.
So I want to talk about that for a second. Anthony Brown, Diggs, Jordan Lewis, and who's what's his name is that? Who's our other corner, Joe?
You got Reggie Robinson, who's kind of unproven still.
Unproven in the staff. I feel like they gave up or just I don't know what happened. Just didn't get it. I thought last year would have been a great time to steal him some reps in game. You didn't have a chance of being successful as a team. You should have known that and try to get him some reps. But anyway, that's last year. Do you feel comfortable with that, with those corners, Joe?
No, absolutely not. And then if you lose one of those corners that you're not even comfortable with, you're really up the creek. You know what I mean? Let's say you were to lose Anthony Brown. You're going to roll with Reggie Robinson or maybe push out Jordan Lewis, who can do it. He did it at Michigan, but still, you're going to be very hampered. In fact, Foots, you and I have talked about this. They might even double dip at cornerback in this draft, right?
Yeah.
So, for me, I want to get a premium guy. Move now. See, that's where I would move up. If we go somewhere, if we don't take a cornerback there at 10. I think you need to move back into the first and grab the next best one that might be there, and that might be Newsome, which the Cowboys do like him a lot.
Cowboys do like Greg Newsome a lot. I've heard that as well. Okay, so we're gonna answer a question, then we'll get. I got another topic, but we got time today, so we don't have to stay.
Yeah,
We don't have to stay. We can go off the reins a little bit. You guys send some questions. The Traveling Man, thank you for the super chat. When you're ready to answer this, does Nick Bolton's pro day numbers change your views on him? What were the numbers, Traveling Man? I
think he ran like a 4.6 for the 40, which was kind of what he had been kind of pegged at. You know what I mean? So 4.6. I mean, it's
not for me, because for me, no, because I'll answer this, Joe, and feel free to jump in. Yeah. Absolutely not. Matter of fact, please let Nick Bolton fall.
Yeah.
Like, he would be an ideal pick for us at 44.
He's good, really good.
Oh, I would run to you telling me I got a real Mike linebacker or a guy who would. So you got to understand, Nick Bolton's game is instincts. The size is, he's not built like Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
You know, he's not built like, Zaven Collins, who Dallas does like. Mm-hmm. Linebacker is a real position that is being explored. Like, we'll have to talk about that too, but I think that Dallas could very well turn into Micah Parsons' card. I would hate it, but they could do that.
Yeah.
And that just is what it is. But I have Nick Bolton rated over both of those players. But that's me because of, guess what? I've seen a player who played in the SEC, the highest level of football, on a decent to lower grade team. I've seen him lead the SEC in tackles. Like, he's London Fletcher, man. He gets to the ball.
Yeah.
His diagnosis skills. He's physical. He won't be denied. He never comes off the field on all three downs. He knows football. You're not going to be able to isolate him in coverage because he's a tick there. He's a tick early all the time because he knows football. He has things that you're not going to be able to judge at a pro day. He plays football the way that you won't be able to judge at a pro day. Some guys don't have the muscles, and they're not going to run a 4. Like, linebackers running a 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, whatever. That's like a new thing. That's because they can train and they know how to get these times down and all that type stuff. That's great. How does he play football? Does he take his keys? Does he run the alley correctly? Does he play well as a force player? Like, Nick Bolton does all that to me. So the pro day doesn't hurt me at all. Mm-hmm. Like, that's me, Joe. What about you?
No, it doesn't affect me either. The numbers that came out were what I expected them to be. So it wasn't like, if people didn't follow him or watch the tape and they just solely looked at the numbers, you're gonna have that faction where like, oh, I'm out on him. But no, the reality is he's one of my top-rated linebackers, if not at the very top. You know what I mean? So the instincts are off the charts. That we don't want the hesitation that we've seen with Jalen Smith. You know what I mean? Like, he has hesitation. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's not having the full trust in the change of direction with the drop foot, this sort of thing. But, you got to have somebody here that's going to play the run fits well, somebody who's going to seek and strike and tackles for losses. We need more of that, tackle for losses. And he's a pretty good tackling machine. So I like him a lot. I've said that I have him above even JOK, who that's my college. Those are my boys. But JOK, I think I like him more as a roamer type hybrid Swiss knife type of player. But does this staff going to do that with him? Can they use him like a Jamal Adams type where he's in here causing chaos all over the place? It kind of depends for JOK. But that's why I have Nick Bolton very high for me. But where will he go in this draft? It depends, on the flavor here for these teams.
Flavor that's going to be the theme of this draft. All right, guys. So we have another super chat, and like I said, we got time today, so we're not going to stay, on the highway. We're going to get off, change the tire. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining. Keep sending super chats, man. Shout out to Joe Rod for coming through. Hit him up at Cowboys blog, YouTube. Go subscribe to his channel right now. We got 108 people here at 2:00 on a Friday, so that's good, man. Yeah. Talking draft.
Pound that like button, everybody. Pound that like button for my boy Foots.
Definitely pound that. Like, just hawk smash it. All right, here we go. If you were flushed out and couldn't trade back from 10, would you hate to have? I guess he's saying, would you hate to have Elijah Vera Tucker? I think it's a little early for him at 10. I do like the player, Joe.
Yeah.
But when we talk tackles, but it's two above the rest.
Mm-hmm.
He does have holes in his game. I think sometimes he struggles with strength, whereas Slater doesn't. I like Tucker's feet.
Yeah.
He struggles with strength. Joe, what about you?
No, it's a spot on there. I like him too, and he kind of fits right what the Cowboys like to do traditionally, even with a different staff. They like these interchangeable players that you can flex them out if needed. I have him more of as a guard though, as an interior lineman. He
Yeah.
can play tackle, right? But for me, I think he's more of an interior player. And the Cowboys, they kind of have somebody in the silo already with Connor McGovern. I like what he did in spot duty, to be quite honest.
McGovern did well.
Yeah, so if I'm looking to move on from Connor Williams after this season, which probably is going to happen, he's in a contract year. McGovern slides right in. Where you're looking at, like we keep talking about, your tackles. You know what I mean? So, I mean, at 10, I wouldn't take Barrett Tucker at 10.
No, especially if we'll talk. So that's going to probably be my next topic here, Joe. We'll talk about possibly being wiped out for sure. Because the truth of the matter is this. If you are wiped out and you don't have a trade partner, you got to stand in and pick. But if you aren't wiped out, who's on the board? Okay, so you guys keep sending questions, keep coming with the super chats. Thank you so much, Brandon Griffin.
Great question.
That was a really good super chat. Listen, him, Oklahoma State tackle, his name escapes me right now.
Tevin Jenkins.
Tevin Jenkins.
Yeah.
I love the way he finishes. I just don't know his kick set. I think he may struggle with quicker guys. See, the reason why I'm so high on Sewell and Slater, because I think they have it all.
Yeah.
I do. I think they have it all. What I saw with Jenkins is a great run blocker. Like, wow. But I think when he sees some of these A-list pass rushers, I mean, and that's what you see. Like, the left tackle sees the best. Most of the time, she's the best pass rusher. Sometimes they kick those guys to the other side on a lesser right tackle. Mm-hmm. But the point of the matter is, in the NFL, all the pass rushers are good, and if they'll find one way to beat you, then they're going to use it and beat you and consistently beat you. So that's why when you start, you got to be kind of picky with your pick. Like, I don't rate Vera Tucker and Slater close because they're not, to me.
No.
Like, when me and Joe have been doing this for a while, so we kind of know like who are the guys. There's a reason why Quentin Nelson went 6 overall. There's a reason why. Mm-hmm. And when you turn on the Colts in the playoff game and he's mauling dudes,
yes,
like literally driving them to the bleachers, that's why he went 6 overall. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why, Zach Martin, even as a guard, went so high. And he's able to do so many things. I always say this story. Me and Joe were watching the Senior Bowl when him and Aaron Donald were battling. So it's levels, it's tiers. Joe, I want to talk about scenarios now. All right, we talked about the 4th pick. The realest scenario I really see, I see New England coming up to get a quarterback or a pass catcher. I've said that for a while. And I think it will probably be quarterback. And then I want to talk about the Bengals, the Dolphins, and the Cardinals, because I think those 3 hold the key to the Cowboys draft. So, Joe, is that realistic that New England could possibly trade up, which to me would be great, because if 4 quarterbacks go in the first 4 picks, we good money.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want. That's the ideal situation for the Cowboys. More quarterbacks, better for us. You're going to get more defenders and other, positions that you have on your board. So, yeah, New England definitely in the mix. They've been very, very aggressive this offseason. I think Belichick knew that what they tried last season was not a recipe for success. That division that they're in is getting better. Miami's going to be on the up. The Jets, they're going to be on the up. So he knows that he's got to get ahead of the competition, right? So very aggressive in free agency this year. They had money. They spent it. They got some good players. Now the draft, I could see them being aggressive there as well. So, you have Cam Newton, but do you want to go up here and get the future at quarterback? You know what I mean? And I think Belichick is probably looking for that, whether it be move up for Mac Jones, Trey Lance, or a player of that caliber.
I agree, Joe. What about this Jamar Chase doing? What is Pitts a real in play here for New England?
That's interesting because you put him in there with Cam
Offense stunk
Newton.
last year, you know?
Yeah, the offense was terrible, and they're very poor at drafting wide receivers. We talked about N'Keal Harry being a complete bust. They don't draft wide receivers well, so if they want to get one for sure, I think you would trade up for Chase. You would trade up for Kyle Pitts. Those are the two that I think they would take. Maybe Waddle. Waddle just kind of scares me with the production. I love the speed. I love the breakaway. Thing on him, but the production and his health kind of scares me a little bit.
I think Joe, you do a great job of not getting over it. I think sometimes around draft communities, like, oh, we love every prospect we look at because we look at their highlights, and
yeah,
you have to be objective. I've said about the Alabama receivers in the last 10 years. There's been a guy at Alabama that just goes crazy and has crazy numbers. But the two that have really been like A+ in the league have probably been Julio and Amari Cooper. Calvin Ridley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
But everybody, I mean, if I'm missing a receiver, let me know.
Jerry Jeudy, still kind of see what he does there. I think he landed in a bad team.
Bad team. He had a lot of drops too.
Yeah.
This year. But, some of those Alabama receivers get to the league, and Julio as advertised, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Ridley, I mean, he's been okay. But then obviously Amari Cooper's been A1, so I will give him that.
Yeah.
But, every year there's an Alabama receiver that comes out that's supposed to be the next great thing, and I'm just kind of like, okay. But anyway, so I like your point about Waddle. Like, I've seen some Cowboys try to make that argument for Waddle. I'm like, no. Let's calm down and let's be realistic here.
Yeah.
So that New England, Atlanta, I do believe Atlanta wants to get out there. I think that they still have some hope in Matt Ryan for whatever reason. So I do believe that Atlanta, I believe that their pick is up for sale. Let's talk about, to me, where the draft really starts. The Bengals, Miami, the Cardinals. To me, those three picks determine what the Cowboys will have as far as if it's Horn or Surtain being there, if Pitts falls, or one of the tackles.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Bengals. Joe, and this is segueing what Dallas could possibly do because they're in reach. It's not like they're drafting at 17. They're in reach. It's a direct domino effect because I'm sure they like all these guys. Joe, do you want the Bengals to draft Jamar Chase, or do you want them to take one of the tackles?
I want them to take Chase because depending on what depending on what Detroit does, they could be in the market for a cornerback. So if that's Surtain, is it J.C. Horn? Because you have they drafted the kid out of Ohio. What was it? What was his name?
Who's that? The Bengals?
No, Detroit. They drafted the
guy. They drafted the corner.
Yeah. So they went early,
and he was a dud.
Yeah. So Carolina also needs a corner.
Early. We're not saying he's a bust, but
yeah, Denver might be in the market for cornerback too. So yeah, I want Chase to go there to the Bengals, and I think that could be reunite him with Joe Burrow. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think they'll bring Joe Burrow into the draft room. Well, a good team is going to get a tackle in there because I don't know any quarterback. I don't know any quarterback in NFL history who hasn't been successful without an A1 left tackle. So a good team is going to say, Joe, I love you. We'll get you a receiver in the second round. We're going to take Penny Sewell here. But do the Bengals say, Joe, we love you. Do you want your boy? So I would love for Jamar to go off the board right here. He's not going to Philly. He's not going to New York or Washington. I'm cool because I'm a huge Jamar Chase fan. Let him go to the north in the snow. Go do your thing, homie.
Yeah.
Cool. And we be good to go there. Let's talk Miami. which I think that Jamar Chase will be in play for them here. Miami's interesting. I believe Sewell or Slater is in play here. A lot of people believe Pitts is in play here. Joe, what do you think? What's your gut? Are they going to try to get to a real weapon, or are they going to keep him clean? Because they could draft a tackle. It's kind of like really they're in the same predicament as Cincinnati. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think you got to get him more weapons.
Okay.
Devontae Parker, and then you have everybody else. I think this is where you might see the conversation for Devontae Smith. They had a really good rapport at Alabama together, very productive. Devontae Smith's numbers with Tua and Alabama were really good. So you may want to bring him in there for a look, give him another weapon, and go to work. And they do have another first round pick later in the first round. So this one you can kind of go with best player available. I mean, it could be O-line, like you said. It could be a wide receiver. Give him another weapon would be my guess.
Okay. So if Pitts is there, Joe.
Pitts is possible as well. Yeah, obviously, because they have Gesicki, but that wouldn't stop me from drafting another player. You have two badass tight ends at that point.
Brian Flores is from the New England tree.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. These defensive coaches like Arthur Smith, Brian Flores, they look at a player like Kyle Pitts and they know this is going to be a problem for somebody's defense. Because I'm a defensive coach. This guy's going to put a lot of pressure. Let's get him.
Joe bringing that heat for y'all, boy. Stop playing.
Yeah.
That's no, seriously though, like when you talking ball and you're talking in the mind of these coaches, GMs, it's clear that Brian Flores is a great young coach. Like, I think that him and Matt LaFleur, I really think that not Matt LaFleur, my guy from Matt Rule. I think Dallas messed up not signing Matt Rule as a coach. I think that even giving him an interview was not a good idea. I think that he's going to turn what they did with Jeremy Sprinkle last year and Derek Brown. He is going to turn that Carolina team around. He turned Baylor around after they were a train wreck. I think Dallas did not do a good job. I do like McCarthy.
Yeah.
But I just think that for the long run, McCarthy, who knows? That's a whole nother topic, but I think Rule. But anyway, Flores is a good young coach. He's a good young mind, and he's coming with young, fresh ideas. I think that Pitts could be in play here, Joe.
Yeah.
I do. Like you said, Gesicki and Pitts is scary. Big weapons. Tua, big catch radiuses. Tua has a big arm. He's accurate. Get those guys on the move, and then let's play ball. Okay. Let's talk. Who's in that eighth slot, Joe? That seventh slot.
Seventh, you got Detroit.
So we got Detroit. I was just looking at a trade scenario. Arizona trading in. Let's go Detroit here. What is Detroit? See, I've been saying Arizona that whole time, but this was from a trade in. So really, those three picks after the Atlanta pick really make the draft to me. Cincy 6, make your draft, make the Cowboys draft. Cincy at 5, Miami trading back in to get to 6, and then the Lions at 7, barring any trade. The Lions at 7, Joe. Tackle here, another corner. Maybe they double down at corner. 2 first-round corners. What are your thoughts, Joe?
For Detroit, probably cornerback, and then Slater or Sewell if they're there. Would make the most sense for me. Only because the coach as well wants to be more physical on offense, wants to set the tone. So I could see O-line there, but cornerback, opposite of Kuda, I think that makes a lot of sense as well.
So one of the corners come. I think if Detroit went corner, I think that they would for sure go Surtain and not Horn. Yeah. I think Horn has been pegged to Dallas, but I think everybody else in the league would be sold on Surtain just because I think he's looked at as one of the cleanest prospects to where he's not one of the he is not a wild card pick. But he for sure would just come in and just be sharp, kind of like Marlon Humphrey, just do his thing, good tackler, good in coverage, Not going to get beat a lot. Maybe he doesn't make a ton of plays, but he does just good
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, wide receiver would be a good one too, right? Because Galladay left, so that could be another need. Chase, if he's still available, would be in the mix. Maybe Waddle. You know what I mean? So Waddle to me is the wild card wide receiver in the top 10. It's really going to be dependent on how are they going to utilize him. Projecting his production. You know what I mean?
I completely agree. I think I don't think that I think that's early for the Lions, but Waddle is one of those players that could say, "Hey, is he the next Tyreek Hill if he's healthy?" And there's going to be some team out there that gets bullish on him.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's great. That's a great point, and I think that's what a lot of these, teams and some fans are hoping that he could be the next, Tyreek Hill. But they don't grow on trees.
Absolutely. Okay, Joe. Let's do. So this is what I want to do. I want to do this segment because we want to talk scenarios, right, Joe?
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, and I want fans, because we know our four. Well, my four is going to be Sewell, Slater, Horn, Surtain. And then you could put Pitts in there, but I'm going to put Pitts in the luxury category because I think he'll be gone. And if he's there, but you have Slater there, I've been very consistent. I'm going to draft Rashawn Slater over Kyle Pitts every day of the week. And Cowboys fans will be mad on draft day, and they'll be happy in the middle of the season. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this, Joe. Let's talk some unknown names because recently Daniel Jeremiah came out with his mock draft. DJ is somebody that we respect. I think Daniel Jeremiah does great work. But he came out with a mock draft that had the Cowboys drafting Kwity Paye. Okay?
Yeah.
That, to me, scares the hell out of me. I like Kwity Paye, but you would have to tell me what's still on the board and what would be their thinking in taking him that high because the production isn't great. He does play the run exceptional, but I can get that. And if you really want that, you can get that in later rounds. So, Joe, what name would bother you more, Micah Parsons or Kwity Paye at 10?
That's a tough question. I would say Parsons for me, but man, Paye's kind of right there too. I think both of those are really early, but yeah, Kwity Paye kind of not at 10. With either of those guys, I would look more in the later teens.
Trade back scenarios.
Trade back scenario guys for me.
Okay. Who's the one name, Joe? It could be anybody. Because there's always, I never forget when Leighton Vander Esch came out of nowhere.
Uh-huh.
Around this time. Who's the one name, Joe, that you could project coming out of nowhere at 10?
I think it would be Zaven Collins.
Good one, Joe. Damn, that's a good one.
Because if you talk about it right now, I'm sure even right now, you bring that name up at 10, some people in the chat box will be like, hell no, that's way too high. You can trade down and get him, which, yeah, I agree. But you were talking about the Cowboys here. They do surprise us. When they took Anthony Spencer years ago, that was kind of one that kind of caught me by surprise, albeit that was later in the late 20s, but it wasn't really a name that was really being talked about that much. And, Zaven Collins would be one that would be in my book, Foots.
That, Joe, y'all, mark this one down. Share this story. This show. This has been a banger. I'm serious. We balling today, Joe. We got everything working. The fastball, the curveball. I'm serious. All right, Joe. Alakai Tremble says, and I like this. That's why I put it on the screen. I'm also going to put another comment on the screen because I think it's really, really good. Alakai says, I want a defender who's absolutely going to change the attitude of this defense. I guess that's what he's trying. I don't want to hear us mention the word versatility after every pick. Alakai, you my dog for life. You my dog. That's my dog. Alakai, my dog. Listen, that's why I want to draft J.C. Horn. I don't want to draft any more choir boys. Like, give me a dog. And that word is thrown around way too much. This team has no dogs. We have hey, help them up. Hey, good job, man. F that, bro. Like,
yeah, right.
I'm tired of that. We don't have any dogs. I will say this: Trayvon Diggs is a dog. Give me another dog. I love J.C. Horn because he thinks he's the best. He plays like he's the best. If you talking that talk, he's gonna give it right back to you. We don't have any dogs. We need dogs.
Yeah.
Nick Bolton is a dog. He plays angry. So I agree with changing the attitude of this defense. Neal does a little bit of that, especially I think in the role they're going to play him. He has the big hits. All that type stuff means something. I think Donovan Wilson has a lot of that. Bring as many of those guys on the field as possible. As many of those guys is going to try to hurt you. Like that's still football at the end of the day. So I'm with that, Alec. I think that was a great comment. Let's go back to the name. This is a good one right here. I agree with this one. Mm-hmm. Now, I would be shocked if it's at 10, but I would understand it, especially if this team didn't have Horn graded the way that I do. Because I hear things around Dallas. Oh, he's grabby. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. And I'm just kind of like, I haven't seen. I mean, like, yes, he's a physical corner, but grabby, really?
Yeah, there's some of that's just overblown, man. It's always like you get people that just don't like certain players. They don't like certain schools, and I wouldn't say fans will hold a grudge against certain players or teams, but that is a thing out there. You know, some people have biases. You know what I mean? They don't want to look past, you know, the player, you know, the helmet, right? So J.C. Horn for me, they need that dog player. You know, you draft a player that high, you want him to be that. You don't want to get in here and get a Claiborne who's timid, doesn't want to do contact, doesn't want to play run defense, be a total bust. J.C. Horn to me is, like you said, he's going to be in your face. He'll lose some, but he'll win some, just like any other guy. Trayvon Diggs, same way. You know, they're going to come back and be in your face the next play. They're not going to get their feelings hurt or, you know, their head down. Like Claiborne was terrible, bro. Like he would get burnt, he would get beat, and he was done for the game, bro. That was it for him. Confidence was trash.
Yeah. That's I'll say this. I don't think enough has been made of how Trevon Diggs battled for what this coaching staff asked him to do. Like, just go. Mm-hmm. Mike Nolan was like, just go guard Julio the second game of the year. Mm-hmm. Go. Yeah. And it was like you know, like, so I agree with that, Joe. Confidence at the corner position is key, and that's what evaluators need to look into. I like all the technician stuff, but at the end of the day, you're gonna get beat in this league. It just happens. How do you bounce back?
Yeah.
So I think that's a good one, Naga Sato. Okay, Joe. Last one here, guys, and then we'll head out. I think this was a banger of a show. I think what's not being talked about enough is the linebacker position. I just don't know if they'll go early. Mm-hmm. Joe, if there was one position that Dallas double dips at because they have 10 picks in this draft, give me two positions that you could see the Cowboys double dipping at?
For sure, it's got to be cornerback and linebacker for me. Okay. You know, you didn't really add another vet at linebacker. I mean, we know we're going to use Neal and kind of that, you know, that flex will, safety, strong, whatever the hell, you know, but still behind him, you know, you have Gifford, can't stay healthy, gets on the field, takes a hit, he's done. So you need another linebacker or two, cornerback as well. You know what I mean? You probably need another slot. You need some more depth there. So double dipping those two guys' positions for me.
I think you're spot on. Malik says that grabby stuff is overused. What corner doesn't grab at corner? You have to get physical. I think that's a great comment, Malik. I agree with you there. I think we're on the same page. It's very overrated. What happens during the draft process is I think folks start looking for reasons to not like a player.
Right.
Like, if he could play, trust your instincts. And I think what you said, Joe, piggybacking on what you said, double dipping at linebacker. Now, I want to go back to a surprise pick because somebody brought up this player. And I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. It's all Foots the King. Follow Joe. We'll plug that again. Everybody go do it right now. Like, leave the chat and then go follow us and then come back. For real. We're thankful for you guys, though. Seriously, I'm very thankful for you guys.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat box.
Y'all been killing it, man. Straight up. Jalen Phillips would not surprise me. Here's why. Jalen Phillips is really good. Like, if you get wiped out, you could convince me, Jalen Phillips. Who do you have after DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory at the end, Joe, that you love on this team?
There on this team, there's none, and then you have projections, right? Like Dorrance isn't an answer. He's just been a body there, a placeholder, a night potential, but you don't know for sure there. If he's going to even fit into the scheme with Dan Quinn. So yeah, you definitely need some more bodies in here. It doesn't hurt.
What do
We're
you
talking
like?
about Lawrence getting long in the tooth.
Yeah, yeah, Joe. Do you? I didn't mean to cut you off there, Joe. I think that's great analysis, man. Do you like Jalen Phillips, Joe?
I do like him. Actually, I like Jalen Phillips and I like Quincy. I don't like Russo at all, and I don't think he
Okay.
did very good. I didn't think he did himself anything good in the pro day. You know what I mean? So Phillips, Roche, and then that's it for me on those guys.
I think we pegged Roche as a third round player in one of our mocks.
Yeah.
And he's very good against the run. Pass rush stuff could be a little better, but he's physical at the point. Yeah, I think the way I just love the way Jalen Phillips moves.
I take him over Kwity Paye. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Like if you had to make that choice, right?
Yeah.
If you had to make that choice, like it'd be a no-brainer. Kwity Paye, like because I really see TJ Watt. Like I just like his movement. I like the way he diagnoses plays. I don't see like a super big sack guy, like a Myles Garrett sack guy, but I also see, I see a lot of plays like in run support. I don't know. I just like Jalen Phillips. Folks, will say, off the field, does he really love football? I think so. He went to Miami. I watched the documentary on him. He went to Miami. He reshaped his body.
Yeah.
He transferred in from UCLA. Like he's a really good player.
Yeah.
He's a really good player. Let's talk about this, Joe. I got a super chat that I think you'll like.
All right.
Will you ever flip the script and rock a hat, Foot? Love all Joe's hats. I got a pretty decent collection as well. Let me see if I got a hat. I'm a beanie guy myself. Cat mode, baby.
Yeah, can never go wrong with the beanie, right? That's you can use that any time of the year, really rock it. Yeah.
Shout out to you, Alakai. Now I gotta get I need a cowboy hat. Somebody send me a cowboy hat, please, like a little snapback. I'll cover my dreads up. Here we go. We got a super chat, Joe. Let's get to it. Do you think Phillips is living in Malik Hooker's shadow in terms of injury? He would been a top 5 picks if it weren't for the injury. It feels very similar, so scary. You talking about Jalen Phillips, Brandon Griffin? If you're talking about by that I mean the league can be scared of Phillips early because of we saw. Oh, okay. And the Colts made a mistake. I do, yeah. That's a good point. I see what he's saying. I guess he's saying Malik Hooker had the injury issues. He went early to the Colts, and he wasn't. He had the same issues with the Colts. That's fair. What is Phillips' injury history again, Joe? I know you would know better than me.
On that, I'm not even sure on him. I don't want to speak on the injuries that he's had. So
we can look it up real quick. I do know that he, you know what, he did have an injury. I think he had a major injury. Here's the thing about that. Okay, you have players. Okay, so he did. That's right. He medically retired. Then he came back. So I see. That's a great question, Brandon. He medically retired and then he transferred in to Miami at UCLA. Okay, so that makes sense. Here's the deal. The concussions. Okay, here's the deal. I think that kind of might have had something to do with the program at UCLA too. Kind of being in the dumps because I think a couple players transferred in, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, guys. But I think that Phillips let's just say he found his mojo in Miami and he played like it. from the way he lifted to the way he got better. So that's a good question, Brandon Griffin. I do think I agree with you that he has top 10 talent. Like everybody just kind of late to the party on Phillips. I think he's a really good player. Like, and that's where I'm at with it. Like, if he was that surprise name, I'd take him. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's always, that happens every year, right? You always have the injury concern guy, and it's true for a lot of people. If they're injured in college, a lot of times that does translate into the pros. So that will probably be one of the dings in his armor would be that, so definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. I love to play. When I do watch him, I love to play. Let's talk about this one, Joe. I like the super chat. I mean, this play. Thank you for the super chat too, Brandon. That's awesome. Straight up. Cowboys trade back with the Jags to 23 and 33 and a 2022 second. They can get Horn and Phillips at 33. No and no. You will not get J.C. Horn at pick 25. You will not get Jalen Phillips at pick 33. I will tell you that right now. So, many teams need corner. I can tell you, living in D.C., J.C. Horn wouldn't get past 19 at Washington.
Yeah, he's gonna go early, and he's one of the premier, DBs, cornerbacks. Happens every year. These guys go up more and more. Like there's a chance that neither Surtain or Horn could be available for the Cowboys.
Yeah, right.
Very possible.
Yeah, that's why this trade up stuff is kind of like real, kind of like not, but there's a chance that, like Joe just said, man, they could easily be gone. So yeah, I don't want to. I'm not into trading back. You did the work, make the pick. You got 10 picks.
Yeah.
Don't get into. I know Jeff Kavanaugh's thing. Shout out to Jeff Kavanaugh. He's great. Captain trade back. No. Not Foots. Foots is captain. You did the work. Make a pick. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and you make the pick based on what you want to do for this team. Like if you want to get Zeke going, you draft the tackle. I've been hearing that a lot. Like, is Zeke washed? No, the offensive line wasn't good. Like Zeke can still play. He may not be Zeke of 2016, but Zeke can still play for sure.
Yeah.
So I just think that, all in all, my final thoughts, man, as we get closer, and I know Joe's going to keep doing amazing work. You guys got to get to Joe's channel. Keep hitting up. I'm going to do like 3 more draft profiles, and I'm going to cut it off. Maybe 1 more mock draft, and I'm going to cut it off. And just draft day will be together with you guys. And I talk about more news headlines, stuff like this. But I think in my final thoughts is this. You want 4 quarterbacks to go in the top 6, 7 picks. That's how you get to where you can get that your guy.
Yeah.
Joe, what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's what you want. It's the more the better, and that'll give you more opportunities to make your selection. You know what I mean? I think either way, if the Cowboys stay at 10, they're in good shape to get somebody good. Now, that also means if things start to go crazy and they get wiped out, they do have that in their back pocket to trade back if they have a dance partner. It just takes 2 to tango, right? Like we just said. So, it's going to be a very fun draft. I have no doubts about that. And keep in mind there are teams behind us as well. So Cowboys got to, think about that as well. Will somebody leapfrog us and get, one of these players that's kind of coming down to us? Somebody may want to do it. We have 2 NFC East teams behind us. They may want to ruin our draft day by doing the leapfrog. They got to keep that in mind.
Yeah, man. That's going to be fun. And anything that we hear, me and Joe will hit it live. But one thing you'll always get with us guys is the real. You're not, like Chris Lester said, you're going to get bars with us. I'm not giving y'all, I'm not going to go all in on some of these guys who, I'll be honest with you. I'm not as high on Kelvin Joseph as everybody else. If it was me, I would probably wait and try to get a Paulson Adebo in the 3rd versus trying to take a flyer on a player who doesn't love football. They all love football around the pro day season, and they put out stuff they can control. When you put $1 million in their hand, do they love football? That's what I want to know. You get what I'm saying? So I have other corners, you know what I'm saying? Just like the Ardarius Washington hype. I'm good. Give me Andre Cisco in the third versus a Ardarius Washington. Give me Richie Grant in the second versus I don't want to, because I already know this team doesn't like smaller safeties. They're not even going to play with that. So we're going to give you the real. So that's where I'm at with it, Joe.
Facts, bro. Facts all the way. Shout out to everybody in the chat box, man. You guys came with the great questions. Make sure you guys hit like on Foot's video here.
Yeah. Pound the like button, guys. Maybe me and Joe will do this again next Friday or next week.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining. You guys send this around. Let's see. How do you know he doesn't love football? Because he like music? No, Chris Lester or something. It's the coaches. Kelvin Joseph he's had bad issues with the coaches and some of that stuff. Yeah, I agree, Naga. If we could get Paulson and Debo, that would be great. All right, guys, we're out. Joe, where can they find you at before we head out?
Yeah, you guys can hit me up on YouTube. Just look up Cowboys Blog. It'll pop up there. And on Twitter, Cowboys Blog Net, N-E-T.
Hey, you guys go follow, not now, but right now. It's your boy Foots. Hey.